Operation Entebbe, also known as Operation Thunderbolt, later renamed Operation Yonatan in honor of the fallen commander Yonatan Netanyahu, was a daring hostage rescue mission carried out by the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, at Uganda's Entebbe airport on July 4, 1976. It is considered one of the most successful counterterrorism operations in history. Background: on June 27, 1976, an Air France Airbus A300 flight departing from Tel Aviv to Paris with 248 passengers was hijacked by two members of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, External Operations, PFLPEO, and two members of the Revolutionary Cells, RZ, a German left-wing extremist group. They diverted the flight to Entebbe, Uganda, after stopping in Benghazi, Libya, for refueling. The hijackers were supported by Idi Amin, the dictator of Uganda, who allowed them to use Entebbe airport as a base. Upon arrival, they were joined by 4 more hijackers and Ugandan soldiers, bringing the total number of hijackers to 10. Demands: the hijackers demanded the release of 40 Palestinian and pro-Palestinian militants imprisoned in Israel, along with 13 other prisoners held in other countries, in exchange for the hostages. They set a deadline, threatening to kill the hostages if their demands were not met. Once at Entebbe, the hostages were taken to an old terminal building. The hijackers separated Israeli and Jewish passengers from the rest of the group. Over the following days, most non-Jewish passengers were released, leaving 94 passengers, mostly Israelis and Jews, and the 12 Air France crew members under the control of the hijackers. Israeli response: the Israeli government, led by Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, was faced with an immense challenge. After days of failed negotiations, they decided to carry out a military operation to rescue the hostages. Intelligence efforts to gather information about the layout of the airport and the hijackers' strength were intensified. Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, worked to develop a plan based on inputs from various sources, including released passengers and detailed information about Entebbe airport. The plan for Operation Entebbe was bold and involved flying Israeli forces over 2,500 miles into hostile territory. The operation would be conducted by Sayeret Matkal, an elite commando unit of the IDF, along with support from the Israeli Air Force, IAF, and other special forces units. 1. Transport and approach: 4 Hercules C-130 transport planes would carry about 100 commandos and vehicles to Entebbe. The planes would fly at low altitude to avoid radar detection. 2. Ground tactics: upon landing at the airport under the cover of darkness, the commandos would use a black Mercedes limousine and Land Rovers to mimic Amin's motorcade to deceive Ugandan forces. 3. Rescue operation: the force was split into several units, one to neutralize the hijackers and rescue the hostages, another to secure the airfield, and the last to destroy Ugandan MiG fighter jets parked at the airport to prevent any pursuit after the operation. The execution: on the night of July 3 to 4, 1976, the Israeli planes landed at Entebbe. The Mercedes and Land Rovers drove toward the old terminal, initially taking the Ugandan soldiers by surprise. Upon reaching the terminal, the commandos stormed the building. In a firefight that lasted just minutes, the Israeli forces killed all 7 hijackers in the terminal. 3 hostages were accidentally killed during the raid, 2 in the crossfire and 1 later due to miscommunication. Yonatan Netanyahu, the commander of the operation and older brother of future Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, was the only Israeli soldier killed during the operation. He was shot by a Ugandan sniper during the assault. Simultaneously, Israeli forces destroyed 11 Ugandan MiG-17 fighter jets on the tarmac, preventing a pursuit. During the fighting, several Ugandan soldiers were also killed. Aftermath: the entire operation lasted about 90 minutes, and Israeli forces rescued 102 hostages. 3 hostages were killed during the raid, while one, Dora Bloch, an elderly woman who had been hospitalized in Uganda during the hijacking, was later murdered by Ugandan forces on Amin's orders. Israel lost only 1 soldier, Yonatan Netanyahu, but the operation severely embarrassed Idi Amin and strained relations between Israel and Uganda. Uganda did not retaliate militarily but executed several British and Ugandan employees at the hospital where Dora Bloch was murdered. Amin's international standing deteriorated rapidly after the raid. Global impact: Operation Entebbe received widespread international attention and was praised for its boldness and precision. It demonstrated Israel's commitment to protecting its citizens and established a precedent for future counterterrorism operations. The mission became a symbol of Israeli resolve, highlighting the country's capacity for military innovation and intelligence gathering. The success of the mission also underscored the importance of preparation, audacity, and the element of surprise in military operations, inspiring similar hostage rescue operations globally. Cultural and historical legacy: Operation Entebbe has been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and films. It not only elevated Israel's global reputation but also played a key role in shaping future military doctrines related to counterterrorism. The raid is remembered both as a moment of national pride in Israel and a powerful example of special operations warfare. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel for more such content.